Are you getting invalid or just not the right emails from your ManyChat subscribers when using the Facebook default email? Well, I'm going to show you how you can get better emails and validate them. And I'm going to show you that now.
We'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands.
All right, let's get rocking and rolling. And we're going to today talk about a way to validate an email right in ManyChat by calling an API and checking it out. The reason you might want to do this is the emails coming from Facebook may not be your best choice. Maybe it's an old email that they don't use much. Maybe you're looking for, let's say, your e-commerce and you want them to enter in their shopping email. Maybe that's something different. They may have multiple emails, one for business and one for personal, and maybe one for things they sign up for and never use. Who knows? So there's maybe times when you just want to ask them to enter their email. Now, granted, then you lose the power of the user input block, the ManyChat user input block, that you miss the validation that they do on email. So what I'm going to show you is that you can actually do it yourself. All right, I'm just going to interject real quick before we move on with the rest of the how-to video. You don't have to use, as you're going to see, that I've eliminated the email type user input block and using a text reply type versus a email reply type. And so you can still use the email reply type from Facebook, because this whole process will actually validate that email as well. So it's not a total lost cause to use that. I'm just showing you that it might be better to have them type it in all the time, but you can do a combo of both where you allow them to use the quick reply button with the email from Facebook, or also type it in. And one of the things that this process is going to do is the Neverbounce checks the emails for validity. So if they have an email that's in Facebook that's not active anymore, let's say xyz.com, it used to be jeff@xyz.com, and that's what's in Facebook. And now, because I left that company, I left XYZ, that email isn't valid. It is going to come back and tell you that it's not valid. So it's a great way that you could actually use this API to even check the ones that are coming from Facebook. So I just wanted to kind of throw that out there, that you don't have to have them type it all in. You could use a combo of it on this. All right. So I just wanted to kind of give you that idea that, you can use both and still use this API to validate even what's coming from Facebook and catch some things that aren't good, just to up the ante of getting good emails. All right. And what we're going to start out with is, first we have to find an API. We have to find something that's going to do this for us. And Neverbounce is the one that you want to use. And what I'm going to find here is, I'm just going to go to the front page. Oh, no, they're not going to do that unless I log out. And they're not going to do it. It's got the app. I wanted to show you is the front page. And I don't want to log in. There we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the pricing. And what you do is, this is not, you get a free API usage. Basically, when you sign up, let's go a little farther, try for free. So basically, you can get a free list analysis and 1,000 monthly API verifications. And I'm on the free version. So you can get up to 1,000 free every month. And if you look, the prices aren't too bad. Up to 10,000 is, 0.008 cents per email. So if we let's see, let's say we're going to do 5,000. That's $40. So 40,000 for 5,000 validation on emails per month is $40. So you have to kind of weigh, or do you want a valid email, something that's going to work, or would you take the crapshoot and maybe 50% of the emails that are coming from Facebook are good, and maybe 50% are bad? Whereas if you get to ask them, they need to type it in, it may be a little more accurate, and you may be able to reach them. So it's a toss-up, but bottom line is you get 1,000. That's $8 for 1,000 if you were to buy them, but you do get, as they said here, 1,000 monthly API verifications. So if I go into sign in, stuff should be there. What you need to do is you have your dashboard here. Then you have to go and create an app once you sign up. So sign up, go in, create a new app, and you're going to create a new app, and I'm just going to call it test. And then you're going to grab this custom integration right here. And it says 1,000 threshold, notify me, and you can put your email, notify when you're getting close to the free that's being used up. And now it's created. So now what you can do is you'd use your API key here. I have another one because I have 2 projects. So I'm going to use this one. But I'm just showing you how to set it up here. And so then you have your API key. So one, sign up. Then go to, you can look at your dashboard or your account, but go to apps, and then you're gonna create. Let's go there. You're gonna create an app. That's what you need to do. And then once you create the app, you name it, and then you'll have an API key. All right. So now we're going to go back to ManyChat, and we're going to put myself over here. I have another flow. I was testing something in here with, move that down here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to create the message. So we're going to create a first message, and you're going to use a input block. So what I did is I just go into the message, create a new flow, go into message, delete this, and then go and get a user input block. All right. So that's all you want for the first message. And so this is, I'm going to explain it so that you can actually just, let's say, kind of interject it into a flow. You know, I'm not creating, this is not the whole flow, but this is the basis how you're going to handle the email. And then later in the next video, I'm going to do phone number. So we'll have both. But basically what you're going to do is you're going to create a message. You're going to put in a user input block. And then I'm just going to delete that one. And then you're going to have this. And so then you're going to just kind of say, I mean, first name, so Jeff, we need your best email. Could you please enter it below? And in this, you're going to ask for text reply. You know, reply type text, not email, text. And then you're going to save it to a text field like you would any other email. You're going to save it to a text field. And that's it. You're going to save it there. Then the next thing you're going to do is create an action. All right. Basically, you're going to have this. Actually, one of the things you're going to do is you want to hit continue, another step on the bottom. And then you're going to double click on the out in the clear space. You're going to say create action. You're going to hit add action. You're going to scroll down, and you do need the pro version to do this. Just a word of warning. You need a pro version to do this. You go down to external request and hit the button, and then you can start filling this in. And then we're going to go back to the one that I already have done. Just going to delete that one, and we're going to open this one up. All right. So now, just basically where I had told you to stop, and we're going to open up, we're going to do a request type post. And now we need to get the endpoint or the API that we're going to call from Neverbounce. And so we're going to go to, so this is a developer docs. So I'm going to show you how to get there, I hope. Otherwise, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the link down in the description. All right. So you don't have to go hunting for it. I'll put the link to Neverbounce, the main page, and then I'll put one to this developers Neverbounce.com docs. All right. And so basically you want to get here. And so look down in the description for the links. And what you're going to do is you're going to verify that email. So you're going to scroll down and they actually have, oh no, this is they have right here. And so it's basically a curl. This is a curl, not a node, curl example of how to call it. That's fine. We don't care. We're just going to make sure that we're doing a post, which we are. And then we're going to grab this URL right here. And actually, we could take the whole thing, all right? Take the whole thing and paste it in there, all right? I already have my key in here and stuff. So what I'm going to do is cancel this. Oh, never mind. Sorry, I'll go back in here. So what you're going to do is you're going to paste that in here. It's the whole thing, okay? But what you're going to do is you're going to substitute the key and their email in here. So yeah, let me do this. I'm just going to do another action so I can show you. So we have the external request. We got post. We're going to put the URL that we just copied from this page. Now, granted, it's going to tell you got to put your key in here. You got to put the email in here. So what you're going to do is you're going to go back to your account, and here's your. You can actually hit that. I guess that copies it, and then you can take that back, and you're going to go from the curly bracket to the curly bracket, and you're going to put that in there. And then for the email, we're collecting the email. And remember, we were putting in a email. So we're going to go and we're going to go double click like that, or double squiggly, curly bracket, and then there's a email right there. So that's all we're going to do. That's the way you're going to set it up to get the call to the API. And now actually the API came back and said it's valid. The email that I sent them is valid. And if we go over here and look at audience, let's go see what we passed them. We passed them a email, jkapinski@gmail.com. So we passed them in valid email. And that was just in this test in here. This is not the real one that we're going to be using. And then you just save that. All right. And then I'm just going to go into the other one. I'm just going to delete this one for now because I have other things that I have to show you. So once you have that, in the body, you're not going to put anything in the body. Response is what you're going to get back, but you're going to response mapping. So you want to map the response that you got back, either valid or invalid. So how you're going to do that is, let's go back here and run this. Let's go back to headers. We're going to run this. And so I got successful because remember we saw it was jkabinski@gmail.com. So I'm going to take this JSON. Actually, let's do this. Take this JSON. That's a JSON response coming back from the API. And I'm going to go open up my favorite viewer, JSON viewer. I'll put a link down in the description for you that you can bring it in. So basically what you want to do is you want to throw that in there and then hit format. So now you can really see what the JSON looks like. And you need to do that in order to use the external request action and to map that field over to a custom field. So we created, I had a email, and then I created another custom field. And all you have to do is you can do this, type it in. I put an S on there, but just type it in and hit here, and then you can add the new field right there. All right. I'm just going to keep it what I had it. But you want to store the result, and the result is right here. So when you're mapping out the result field, and you can map out any of these other ones that, if you want to look at them, they're always going to, if they usually say successful just because it's the, you don't have to check that. It's going to say valid or invalid. But what we're going to do is to get to the results. So that's the value, and what JSON is, there are key, whoops, not the result, that's a key, and then value. Sorry, I misspoke. So JSON always has a key, which is status. Success is the value. Result is a key. Valid is the value of that key. So what we're going to do is over here, we want the key definition. And so $ is the root. That means this whole thing right here, where it starts here. That's where the $ starting. And then we're going to go dot, and then we're going to go result, because that's what we want. Result. And you can click the little question mark here, and it'll take you to the JSON path, and it'll explain this a little bit. And it kind of has some examples of how this works with arrays and all this other stuff. But basically, we're kind of doing this dot, $, result, and type of thing. So I'm going to close that, come back here. So now we have it mapped. So now we're going to save that. And what we're going to see is there's a result, valid. So let's just change this to, let's say I forgot the M. And now I have that. And if I go back in here and just run a test, it should come back and say result, success, result is invalid. So if we took this one, and we open up the JSON viewer again, you're going to see that says invalid, that value. The key is still result. So what we're going to do is save this, and then we'll look at the rest of the flow. We're going to do a condition. After we come back from calling that API, we're going to do a condition to check to see if it's valid. Right, I need to add some other email result statuses that I did not account for in the original video, and I caught it enough time to put this in. And so when you're getting the results, of course you're looking for valid, but there's also a couple other ones, unknown and accept all. And if we kind of look over here on Neverbounce, their website, and looking up as result codes, accept all could be a situation where you want to send it, and so I've talked to Neverbounce, and they said when you're using the API that you should accept all, say valid, accept all, and unknown. And the unknown, I just found out, is I was trying to set to send an email, or I guess validate an email that was att.net, which I have, my wife has, it's very popular, and it came back unknown. And I'm like, huh. So I asked Neverbounce, and what they said is they even checked with the techs, and there's like 3% of servers that just won't respond, and they don't let them in to validate the email the way they validate it. So, and AT&T is one of them. So you want to accept those. So if we go back to the condition, what you want to do is, first off, you want to set it to any of the following conditions, not all, which is a default, any following conditions, and then valid, unknown, and accept all. And that way you're going to allow the ones that may not be totally valid, they're coming up unknown, like att.net, and you'll let them through. So I just wanted to point that out Just make sure that you do it this way versus in the video, I was just doing valid. Make sure that you do all 3 of these, and to make sure that you're getting, the full capability of valid emails. All right. If it's valid, we're just going to say this email, whatever it is valid. Now, granted, that's not what you're going to want to usually send to the subscriber, but you can do whatever you want. I mean, you can continue on, but I think just kind of validate that, hey, we got a good one, thank you. If you didn't, what I did here is I created another user input block to enter the email again. And basically I said, you have entered an invalid email, Jeff. You entered, and then I showed them what they entered. And I said, please enter a different email again below. And I probably could say, please enter a valid email below. Something like that. And then you're going to save it in the email again. All right. And then what this is going to do is go back around to the external request to run this again and check the new email. All right. So I'm going to publish that. And I think I got the green there, and I'm going to disconnect this because this is the second part where I'm going to do for the phone number in next week's video. Actually, it probably won't be a week. I'll do it pretty quickly here. And then you can see how you can validate phone numbers people enter. And you don't have to accept whatever phone number they put into Facebook, which may be incorrect again. So I'm just going to publish that. And now we're going to run this. So it says, so Jeff, we need your best email. Could you please enter it below? So I'm going to put Jeff, put some other junk in there, and I'm going to put .com. All right. So I kind of put a fake server in there. You have entered invalid email, Jeff. You entered Jeff, blah, 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 .com. Please enter a valid email. And this will keep going. Now, granted, you could put a skip button in here, and you could just, basically what you could do is just check. You'll have to check to see if they put skip in. Granted, it all depends on if you want them to skip, but you could easily put a skip button in here. So let's do this again. I'm going to put a valid email in there. Oh, actually, here. So now let's go look at this fields quick. And let's just see what we got. Invalid, and there's it. So those are getting updated. And what we're going to do, is we're going to put a valid email in. CubMediaVox.com. I'll put a valid email in, and then it should come back. Yep, this email is valid. And if we go look at me and look at my fields, there's the email and it says valid. So that's a way you can not have to rely on what's in Facebook and just call this API. Now, if we go back to Neverbounce, I go back to my account, you can see that I'm at 16. I'm going to use 16 of them. And I have 979 remaining. Well, it doesn't add up to 1,000. So I think this is off a little bit. It probably should be, what, 21? 21, which makes sense. because I've done a few. So, you know, it depends on the volume that you have coming in. You know, how many new subscribers are you having every month? You know, I have 1,000 every month for free. Another 1,000 is $8. So I think it may be worth the little bit of cost in order to validate emails, being that maybe the ones from Facebook aren't so valid anymore. So, all right, got any questions, let me know. Well, that concludes our video for today on how you can allow your ManyChat subscribers to enter a valid email and not being using the Facebook default email, and using an API and the ManyChat External Request action to validate that email. It will greatly increase the percentage of good emails versus the ones that may not be any good coming from Facebook into your CRM, into Google Sheets, or wherever you're sending it, or wherever you're going to use it in the future. If you have any questions or comments, please post them down below. I'd happy to answer them. And as always, like the video, share it across the world, and subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't miss out on any future videos. Click the little bell so you do get notification when I upload a new video. Down in the description, I have a link to a great Facebook group, all like-minded people sharing things. Come on and join us. And as always, have a great week, and I'll see you in the next video.